Welcome to the Turbulence Plastic Ant Horizontal Build Guide. This is everything that's in the kit. To get started, go ahead and grab all your pieces for the wheels, and we'll start putting those together. First thing you need to do is take the square nut and press it into the wheel. You'll find you'll need to either press it on the table or sometimes just press it on the other wheel. Just make sure it's nice and flush in the wheel. From there, you'll take the set screw, insert it through the hole above the square nut, and get it started in the square nut. Just a few threads is good because we're going to need to push the drive motor shaft through later. Go ahead and do that to the other wheel. We can move on to mounting the tire onto the wheel. You need to push the tire from the back and almost so far over the front it feels like you pushed it too far, and then just kind of work it in, and then it'll start looking like you see on the screen here. And make sure both sides are aligned properly, and that wheel's ready to go. You'll slip the wrench into the set screw and then align the drive motor so the flat part of the shaft is facing up. The motor has what's called a D shaft. The set screw fastens down onto that flat part, and that's what holds the wheel onto the motor. When you push the wheel onto the motor, make sure it's the end of the shaft is flush with the wheel. It'll leave a small gap on the motor side, and that makes it center in the chassis very nicely, as you see there. And go ahead and do this to the other wheel. And there you go. That was real fast. Onto the chassis and the charge jack. The first thing we'll do is insert the 4 standoffs into the chassis. So insert one standoff, hold it in place with it one finger while you flip it over, insert a 632 1/4" screw, and then tighten with the provided 5/64 hex key. And then move on to do the same thing to the other 3 standoffs. From there, we'll move into inserting the charge jack. So take the plug out and the jack nut off. That's the little ring, and you attach it with that little ring from the bottom. Get it hand tight, and then grab a pair of pliers and make it snug. Don't over tighten, just make it snug. And you can set the plug to the side for now. Now we'll move on to installing the weapon motor and the weapon. The first step is to feed the wires from the weapon motors through the hole in the chassis. So they're going to go through one at a time. And once they're through, you can kind of pull it through to give you some slack on the inside. So you can plug in the weapon ESC to the motor. For the horizontal, it doesn't matter at all which way you plug them in. If you needed to turn it another direction for personal preference, just switch two of the connectors. Once it's plugged in, you can press the wires into the channel and align the motor at its mounting point. You'll probably have to press in with your hand the heat shrink at the motor side to get it in the channel just right. Once that's all set, you can grab one of the M3 8mm screws to fasten the motor to the chassis. When you're doing this, get the first one in and leave it a little bit loose so you can move the motor around to align the second screw. And then once the second screw is in, you can snug them down and put in the other two. After that, you can move on to putting the zip tie on. The zip tie is a precautionary measure. For the wires are in a channel, but this way it makes sure they can't pop out in a fight. When you put the zip tie on, align the part where it goes through to the side, so it's not above or below the wires. That way there's no risk in it dragging on the ground or hitting the weapon while it's spinning. And clip it off with some snips or pliers or scissors, whatever you have around. Now we'll move on to attaching the weapon blade to the motor. You'll notice there are 3 holes on the motor and 6 holes on the weapon blade. That's so you don't have to worry about how it's aligned when you pop it on. And once you have it popped on, it'll kind of snap into place. And then you can look at the holes and kind of see which ones are where the screw goes. But if not, you can just pop it in a hole and see if it screws down. If it doesn't, try the hole next to it. And they'll go in a triangle pattern once you're ready. There you have it. Now we'll move on to the drive pods and inserting them into the chassis. You'll want to pause the video right now and watch this screen. It shows you how you insert the connectors and which wires go where on the motors. We'll start with the left-hand motor, which uses the tan wire to the positive tab, and you can see in the top right there's a illustration of the back of the motor so you know what the positive tab looks like. But you'll slide the tan wire through the back of the drive pod, as you saw in the previous image. Just be nice and careful and gentle with it because you don't want to bend the connectors of the wires. They go in a very particular way. It doesn't matter which side you push them through. Once you pull them out, you can attach them to the motor as needed. And they'll kind of snap on or click on. You'll feel like a little feedback when you put it on once it's all the way on. And then just carefully push them back into the drive pod and put the cap on, directing the motor wires down. This makes sure those connectors cannot come off in a fight, and you can still build the robot without soldering. When you go to mount them in the chassis, you mount them with the silver M2 8mm screws. These are a self-tapping screw that kind of dig their own hole in the plastic, so it'll take a little bit of force to put them in. So hold the drive pod in place and run the screw into the drive mount. And you'll do the same for the remaining 3 screws to mount the drive motors. Now we'll move on to wiring the robot up. First thing is open the lever clamps, and you'll plug in the red wire from the charge jack to the first slot in one lever clamp, which will become the one for your red wires. The other will be for the black wires. It doesn't really matter what order you plug the red or the black in, as long as the red's with the reds, the black with the black. My personal preference is charge jack in slot 1, drive in slot 2, and weapon in slot 3, just for consistency. So if I have to work on it, I know exactly where to go. And make sure these make good contact as you click them in. If for some reason you get done, you go to power on the robot, nothing happens, it's possible they're just not making good contact and need adjustment. So before we proceed from there, as you saw, the charge jack plug was plugged in. That's to make sure the robot is off before we plug in the battery. When the charge jack is plugged in, the robot is off. When the charge jack is removed, the robot is on. As you see, the battery goes in the left-hand corner there. The receiver plugs in as shown. The single yellow wire from the drive ESC goes into channel 1 on the pin towards the inside of the receiver. The 3-wire connector from the drive ESC goes in channel 2 with the white wire towards the inside. And the weapon ESC goes into channel 3 with the white wire also on the inside. The white wire is the signal wire. The weapon ESC will tuck in front of the right-hand drive motor. The drive ESC tucks in front of the left-hand motor. Then the receiver will drop in the back with the wires exiting towards the front. It'll sit on its side towards the back of the chassis. And the lever clamps arrange over behind the right-hand drive motor. And you can see a picture of the top right that had everything arranged. and make sure you plug in the XT30 from the lever clamps into the drive ESC. That's how it gets its power. We're pretty close to done now. We just need to put the lid on. So make sure all your wires are tucked in and nice and where they go. Pop the lid on. The lid can go on any way you want. There's no left or right or up or down to it. So grab a 632 1/4" screw and put it in the lid, and then do the same for the next 3 screws. Now let's go to the test box here and do some testing. Always use the weapon safety, as you see there. Do a little driving around here, spin the weapon up. And this is on a 2S battery. You can upgrade to a 3S to make everything spin faster. I don't recommend it for your first time, but after you get some experience and you can handle it, you can upgrade it to make it more aggressive and faster. And this robot drives upside down and right side up. It'll perform about the same either way, so there's no need to self-right. If you are upside down in a fight, just remember that left and right remain the same on your controller, but forward and backward are reversed. So a lot of us don't use like inversion switches or anything. We just remember how to drive upside down. I find it a lot easier just to remember how to do it than put fancy switches and settings. Well, there you have it. You've built your Turbulence horizontal spinner kit. Wish you the best of luck at your next tournament.